Jalen Hurts said he was in pretty serious pain despite winning yesterday against the New York Giants. The Eagles officially have a top 10 pick thanks to the Panthers yesterday. And Philadelphia, the playoff path is a little bit easier than you might think. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show on a Victory Monday here, going into the postseason as the number one overall seed. And we're going to talk about yesterday's game in a little bit, but I want to focus in on Jalen Hurts, how healthy he was yesterday, and really try and calm down a lot of, I'd say, anxious Eagle fans who think Philadelphia is going to be one and done in the postseason. We'll also talk about some of the other postseason matchups coming up at the end of today's video. Thumbs up, let's go ahead and jump right in. So first, I want to get to the main headline of today's show, and that was Nick Sirianni's update at the podium yesterday following Philadelphia's win, single possession win, I should say, against the New York Giants, where they clinched the number one seed and won the NFC East. Two of the first big steps every team wants to go ahead and take every single season. So first, right off the bat, 14 wins. Congrats, Philadelphia. I mean, come on. This was a crazy, really impressive year. One of the best we have ever seen. However, Hurts apparently played pretty injured yesterday and apparently went through some serious pain, and that will have an impact going forward the next couple of weeks. Here was Sirianni yesterday on Jalen Hurts, quote, "We had to win the game. However, we needed to win the game, and you saw Hurts made some plays with his feet. They were doing a lot of different things on defense, just throwing some things out there, and we obviously did some different things. We'll always take into account the health of the player. Where I thought the offense wasn't good today was in the red zone. We were able to move the ball. We were able to get some short fields because of our special teams with some of the onside kicks and the fake field goal that they did. So more my concern with red zone play and plan and execution. Now here's the big update. Quote, "We won a lot of different ways this year, and just him fighting through what he thought through to get back, because still, it's not like he was perfect out there in terms of what he felt like. We didn't feel like there was more risk, but I know he was hurting. He was hurting bad. But that's the kind of competitor he is. That's the kind of person that he is, the kind of teammate and leader that he is, and he was able to go out there and tough through it," end quote. So maybe a little tiny glimpse into what Jalen Hurts went through to go ahead and get ready to play in this football game. There's also a report, I believe, from Pro Football Talk today talking about just how much Jalen Hurts worked to get out there. I mean, if this is any other quarterback, I think they're probably not playing in this football game. The pain tolerance was probably a little bit too much, and yet Hurts never even really winced. I'm sure he was shot up. I'm sure he, had a lot of painkillers going on in terms of the shoulder, but the fact that he went out there and gutted it out, I mean, quarterback sneak on fourth down and one shows you he's very serious about winning football games and really wants to make sure that he is not the reason Philadelphia did not clinch the number one seed and obviously get the home field advantage. Now, of course, Hurts going forward, you get 2 weeks. This is the huge part of winning this game yesterday. 2 weeks off, he gets plenty of time to rest and rehab, and you only expect him to be 2 weeks healthier 2 weeks from now than where he is at, obviously, yesterday. I think Hurts is going to be fine. I think the idea that we can sit back and say that Jalen Hurts, injury is going to be, or shoulder is going to be the reason why Philadelphia doesn't win a playoff game is ridiculous. He's as healthy as he possibly can be at this point in the season following the shoulder sprain, and he's going to not make it an excuse at all. There's actually a really funny quote today when Nick Sirianni was interviewed on his weekly radio hit on WIP this morning saying, Nick gave everybody the day off today, and yet Jalen Hurts called him and Shane Steichen and the quarterback's coach and said, hey guys, can we meet today and watch some film at noon? And so they're meeting today to watch film at noon. So it shows you just how I think serious Hurts is. I know that it's obviously a big headline in terms of him hurting in this game, but I expect him to be much more healthy and a lot more of the runny, kind of normal Jalen Hurts once we get to the postseason. Philadelphia, for everything that went bad yesterday in terms of not scoring in the red zone, they at least managed Jalen Hurts very, very well. And I do want to mention this really quickly. I know 22-16, Thomas, they're playing their backups. That's not good. They should have blown out the Giants. Well, first off, the defense played very, very well. I think Davis Webb made some good plays and had one really good drive there late in that game. But overall, the defense played very, very well. But they did manage Hurts from a, running standpoint in terms of not putting him in harm's way. He had 9 carries for 13 yards. None of those were, lower the shoulder and take a hit sort of situations. Very few read options that actually wanted him to keep the football in the RPO. And I think that overall, they did a really good job of him. Now, protection was a little bit of an issue. The Giants notorious, very serious about blitzing. Shows you why they really want Lane Johnson back. I expect him to be back in the divisional round. If you have a gripe with this football team from a play calling perspective, it's the 11 carries for Miles Sanders for 33 yards and the complete lack of utilizing him in the red zone. Now they'd have one red zone possession where they gave him back-to-back carries. After that, a lot of Boston Scott, a lot of Kenny Gainwell, and it wasn't a lot of Miles Sanders early. So hopefully, in a postseason game, regardless of Hurts' health, they get a lot more heavy running the football. And I want to see Miles Sanders get 20 carries in a playoff game. I think if he were to do that, Philadelphia for sure would win and be very, very formidable going forward. Last mention on this game, we'll move on to the NFL draft and also the playoff path here. C.J. Gardner-Johnson was back and playing. He makes this defense so much better. The fact that he's back looked very, very healthy. Excellent news for Philadelphia. Thumbs up for that. The fact that C.J. played yesterday. They're going to play him a lot more in the slot. You saw that. They want Reed Blankenship and Epps to be your two safeties. But in base packages, he can get Blankenship off the football field and be the other safety alongside Marcus Epps, and that's huge. He's going to make some big plays in the divisional round. Mark my words on that one. Okay, quickly, I do want to mention the FanDuel No Sweat First Bet promo for new customers right now. Link down below in the description box. I would recommend doing this for the game tonight. Talk about the national championship game. I think TCU, 12.5-point underdogs last time I checked. Maybe it's 13 right now. I would hammer that line. Georgia's probably going to win this football game. They might blow them out. I just think that if you're going to bet on this game, you got to go with TCU minus 13. Whatever it is there. And, of course, with FanDuel, No Sweat First Bet, you get back up to $1,000 in free bets whenever you sign up and fake your first deposit of $10+. All the info is down below. Takes you to this page. Link in the description. Jump in on that, and we'll see if the Horned Frogs are able to do anything against the Georgia Bulldogs, as I will be at a Georgia watch party here in Atlanta. Most of my friends are dog fans. I'll be cheering for TCU because I'm a Big 12 guy. Went to Baylor, right? Come on. Okay, quickly, let's take a look at the official draft order. 1 through 18 is set. That means 18 teams not going to the postseason. Chicago, the number 1 overall draft pick. Kind of crazy that Houston beating Indianapolis ruined their chances of having the number 1 overall pick. The expectation, I think, Chicago will trade back because they like Justin Fields. So one of these teams, whether it's Indy, whether it's Seattle, whether it's, Vegas, Carolina, will trade up to number 1 to take either C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, and Houston will take the leftover, either C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. Arizona, Indy, Seattle via Denver, Detroit via the Rams. Yeah, that's crazy that Detroit has a top 6 pick. But the main focus is Philadelphia. Sam Darnold completed less than 10 passes, yet they still beat the New Orleans Saints. That put them at number 9, giving the Saints the 10th overall draft pick, which is ours now, which is great. I really thought this was going to be a top 5 pick, maybe a top 6 pick, but the way that the cards all fell yesterday with Atlanta winning, and the Raiders losing, and the way that happened with the Rams and Denver, all that sort of thing means Philadelphia gets the number 10 overall pick, which still is huge. I see that as Philadelphia staying put and taking the best player available. Had it been higher up, 3-4, they probably would have traded back to get more draft compensation. I expect Philly to use both first-round draft picks this year. Here's to hoping one is number 10 and the other is 31 overall, meaning they win the Super Bowl because, of course, Miami forfeited theirs due to the whole Tom Brady situation. Okay, let's move over here quickly to the playoff situation. I want to take a quick look at the seeding in the wildcard round. I have a couple of thoughts on this early. First main thought, one of these two teams are probably going to win. I feel very confident that either the Giants or the Seattle Seahawks are going to win on the road against a 2 or a 3 seed. Now, Philadelphia gets the lowest winning seed. So whoever wins of these two games, in terms of if it's a low seed, that's the guaranteed play. Everyone thinks it's going to be Dallas or Tampa, which it most likely is. But if a 6 or a 7 seed win, then that's who goes to Philadelphia for the divisional round game. I think this could be a big upset, Giants and Vikings. That'll be the sexy pick this week. Don't count out Seattle. I know that Packers and the Lions had a real chance if they would have gotten in there. Lions offense, who knows? This to me is the toughest matchup for San Francisco because it's game 3, and Seattle has gotten pushed around, especially offensively against the 49ers the past 2 weeks. You have the Brock Purdy playoff pressure now. The guy's won 5 straight games and being hailed the next Tom Brady. That is going to be a factor. And right now, there's an 80% chance of rain in this game coming up this weekend, meaning Seattle could make it a running football match. They can maybe make Brock Purdy throw a couple of picks. I would not be shocked if this is your upset of the weekend, Seattle versus San Francisco. Now, could be wrong. I might be wrong. If so, you're getting Dallas or Tampa Bay, but let's be real. This is going to be a great matchup because of how bad Dallas was yesterday. Dallas was atrocious yesterday. They're not going to be that bad, but you don't want to go play Tom Brady in the playoffs right now if you're Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Brady has had the Cowboys number his entire career, 7-0. And so either way, I think you're going to get either a Dallas Cowboy rematch, which I feel very confident in Philadelphia's chance. You're going to play Tom Brady, which overall the roster of Philadelphia is better. Or you're going to get a 7-seed Seattle coming off the win of a lifetime against massive upset odds of the 2-seed. I love Philadelphia's chances to win in the divisional round. Again, anything can happen. We have 2 weeks to figure this whole thing out. But Philadelphia, the health is the big factor here. And I think the Eagles are much, much healthier right now in terms of where they will be 2 weeks. And I think they're going to be fine. I know a lot of people are, worried about Philadelphia. Are they going to limp into the postseason? Are they going to be one and done? I think Philadelphia is going to be just fine. I think they're going to pour it on in the divisional round. If there is a matchup I'm worried about, it is the 49ers. That's why I'm kind of hoping Seattle goes ahead and wins that game. But Philadelphia has the best record and the best quarterback in the entire postseason from the NFC side of things, and I think they're going to be absolutely just fine in terms of winning their playoff game. And let's just be real here really quickly. If Philadelphia wins the divisional round and goes to the NFC Championship game, even if they lose in the NFC title game, it still is a massive success. A massive success for Philadelphia just to make it to an NFC Championship game. So let's just understand that as we get ready for the postseason. Quickly, AFC side of things, I don't see any real crazy upsets in the wild card round. I mean, the NFC wild card is going to be really fun. The Dolphins, the whole Tua situation, he might not even play if it's Tyrod Taylor or whoever the backup is in Tennessee. I know he was banged up as well. Buffalo is going to advance. Lamar Jackson might not play. Lamar Jackson, if he does play, hasn't played in 6 weeks, I think, 5 weeks. The Bengals are going to roll on that one. And then, of course, you go ahead and wrap up with this whole Jaguar and Charger situation. The Jaguars are going to be the higher seed, but the Chargers are going to be favored. I think the line is in their favor. So I don't see any upsets here early on. You'd hope that Doug Peterson could do it, but I think Herbert and the Chargers are going to advance and play the Chiefs, and that gives you a Bengals and Bills rematch in the divisional round. And a lot of eyes on that one because the most recent one obviously was unable to finish. So here's the deal. Again, the fact we're even in as the 1 seed is still massive. Trust in Jalen Hurts. Trust in the rehab process. Trust in the team that you know and love and have watched win 14 games this year. If you're feeling a little unconfident today, hang in there. Subscribe to the show. I'll keep you guys up to date and confident on everything happening with Philadelphia and the National Football League as a whole. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.